Welcome to World Team of the Week 9. As you know, it has been an action-packed week of Champions League football and some stunning, shocking results on the weekend as well. So it's going to be a lot of competition for places. As per usual, I'll remind you that obviously on Champions League weeks, we do factor in both games. So if you had a great game in midweek but you're terrible on the weekend, or the opposite, it might come into play. These things may be a factor. So if you had two great games, you are more than likely going to be in this team. Now, as per usual, what we always do on these, you know me, I like to read all the comments and get involved. So if you haven't already, make sure you sub. We're around 47.5 now. We're getting towards that 50k and then the 100k beyond that. So keep it coming. Like I said, I read the comments and you guys are able to nominate 3 players who should be honorable mentions that can make the bench and get added at the end of the season when we tally up how many team of the weeks and sub spots people got. So quickly before we start this week's jam-packed one, the 3 honorable mentions that got the most comments last time were, of course, Erling Haaland. It goes without saying that brother's just been moving crazy. So, well, for most weeks he's going to get it. Obviously not this week. Mateta, another one who bagged a hat-trick. And to be fair, hands up for me, I completely forgot. I probably would have made him squeeze in the team, but I completely forgot about him. And then, of course, Pedro, who had another fantastic week last week. But all 3 of those will not be involved today, obviously, because they all lost. So, in goal, we go for someone who I believe it is their first time here this season. We're going to Spurs. And we're picking Vicario, who so far this week has evolved into Super Vicario. It's me, Vicario. He's now making saves, bro. They went away Monaco in the Champions League. 8 saves, clean sheet. I said, whoa. Without him, who knows what scoreline it could have been. And then, of course, Spurs went away to Everton on the weekend. Everton, very tough place to go. The new stadium, they had been pretty much untouched there so far. But Vicario ensured that, again, well, they did concede a goal, but it got disallowed for the whole, who's standing here, is the offside, whatever. But again, back-to-back clean sheets for Vicario. He deserves his spot in goal for Team of the Week 9. Now, at right back, there are plenty of honorable mentions. So again, be sure to write down either your 11 or your 3 names you want to suggest, because Timber, yet again, moving like Ronaldinho in the Palace game, and then of course locking up all the players in the Atleti game, was very close to making it. Another person who was very close to making it, Coyote of Brentford, who of course, not only was he launching the nuclear missile throws, but even in open play, he was driving through that Liverpool team. But I had to give it to a man who, from right back, bagged twice on the weekend and of course contributed towards the win against Leverkusen. It's Achraf Hakimi. Now, granted, sure, the opponents, aren't as strong, but we know, again, Hakimi, like most people, whenever they see Brest, they just start, performing different. They get amped up for it. He bags 2 against Brest, and against Leverkusen, he gets the assist for goal. Bro, they scored 7. I can't even tell you what goal number it was, but he was involved in that one as well. So, Timber, you were this close. You were this. Arsenal fans, I apologize, but Hakimi, obviously, he's banging goals as well, so you have to factor that in. And of course, we're going, around the world. So there we are. In centre-back, the first one, we're going to Old Trafford again for 2 weeks in a row. And we're bringing De Ligt. I've not been overly keen on De Ligt during, the Bayern time after Ajax, and then even the early United days. I'm not saying he was ever meaty or bad. It just wasn't really moving me at all. But recently, and this week in particular, he has suddenly evolved into like this total leader of the United backline, where he'll head everything away, he'll clear everything away. When the ball's on the ground, he's playing it, precisely into Casemiro's feet or Bruno's feet, or pinging it to the wingers even, or wing backs, whatever you want to call them. This was a total performance from De Ligt, and I feel like he feels like that he is the guy to hold. When I say hold the hands, I don't mean it to be an insulting thing, but like he's holding the hands of like a Lenny Yoro who's very young, or a Shaw who is not a centre back, but maybe he's playing left centre back at times. He's kind of holding their hands and showing them that, like, boom, we can do this. And he's been a big reason why the likes of Cunha and Mbuemo up the other end are able to shine. So big up to De Ligt. And the next guy, I think, I don't even need to say his name, bro. It's inevitable. We're going to see this brother pull up near on every week. Because what do you mean Gabriel Magalhaes is getting goals and assists now in the same game, bro, against Atletico Madrid? Guys, he's become so inevitable that I saw the video on Twitter. His wife is now getting the phone out like this. She's getting the phone out, say, yeah, go on Rice to record free kicks and corners, because she knows that her husband is about to get a goal or an assist. Back in the day, when you get your phone out, you're waiting for a penalty or something, right? Or maybe even a free kick. You're thinking, oh, a Messi free kick. Yeah, I'm going to record this. She's recording all the corners because she knows that Gabriel is going to score. How can that even be a thing? And of course, we mentioned Atleti. He scores himself. He then gets the assist for Gyökeres's goal. On the weekend, he gets the assist against Palace for Eze's goal. And then another back-to-back clean sheet where, again, no shot on target. They did say there was one shot on target. I found out afterwards it was Nketiah jumping next to Reyes' arms, basically. They counted it as a shot on target. In my eyes, it's not a shot on target. So Gabriel, like, let's also not just say goals, right? Defensively, the brother's been an absolute titan, a wall who has cut out the mistakes that people used to criticize 3 years ago, maybe. So yeah, Gabriel, at this point, I'll be honest, grab yourself a seat, engrave your name on it. It's like a parking spot, bro. You own it now, I can't lie. Left centre back, just assume every week he's probably going to be in there. Now, on to left back. We have a man who people were very worried for him this weekend. They said, oh, it's going to be a long day for this guy. It's going to be a very, very treacherous time. He's going to get roasted. He emptied his pockets. He found Amenyah. Carreras of Real Madrid. I had put him in my combined 11 for this season. The Barca fans, naturally, they shouted at me. They called me all sorts of names. They were calling me a disgusting Madrid rat for whatever reason. I don't know why you would think that I now suddenly love Madrid because I said that they have some good players. Lo and behold, their guy Balde is getting breezed by Militao on the wing, whilst Carreras has pocketed Amenyah. And I mean pocketed, bros. Amenyah, I don't know if he's too busy looking in the crowd, trying to look cold for nicking the goal wide. I don't know what the situation is, but Carreras barely even broke sweat. And then to add to it, like I said, Champions League is important too. Kept a calm, clean sheet against Juventus midweek. So big ups to Carreras. Now the midfield. This one, it was difficult, guys. I had a lot of players to pick from. Arsenal fans, I apologize. Zubimendi was going to be in, but I couldn't. I had to take him out. I had to remove him late on. Instead, we're putting in Granit Xhaka, who absolutely bossed it at Stamford Bridge for Sunderland to put them second in the league at the time anyway. I think they're like fourth or something now, but when they beat Chelsea, they went second. And you know how much of a Caicedo hype man I am. Xhaka showed levels in this game. I don't know what happened to Caicedo in this particular match, but it definitely was not his best. Granit Xhaka was controlling. He was a leader. He was playing the line-splitting passes. He was intercepting stuff. He was all over the place. You'd forget that this guy is no longer, 26, 27 in his prime when he used to have those battles with Paul Pogba, France v Switzerland. Guys, he's in his 30s and he's moving like this. You have to give credit where credit is due. Now, like I said, you might be thinking, oh, but you could still put Zubimendi next to him. I can't. Because a certain team packed Napoli 6-2 in midweek. Now, in this game, this man scored 1 goal. But then on the weekend, PSV had a massive game away at Feyenoord, who were top of the league at that time, 3 points ahead of PSV. He bags a hat-trick. It is Saibari who will be partnering Granit Xhaka in midfield for this week. I'm going to play him as like an 8 or whatever because we also have a 10. I think that one, you might know who it's going to be already. But like I said, big ups to Zubimendi. And obviously big ups to the Napoli players for dunking on Inter, right? The likes of Zambo Anguissa, McTominay, or rather Diego Armando Maractomine. They balled out, but again, you can't lose 6-2 midweek to PSV and get in my team of the week. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Saibari balled out in both games, both against Napoli and then obviously, like I said, getting a hat-trick to win 3-2 away Feyenoord, you have to be in. And in the 10th position, please welcome back for the first time this season, I believe, and probably most likely not for the last, Jude Bellingham. How people still don't rate this dude, it is beyond me. I'll be honest with you. Now, I've said many times in these videos, Team of the Weeks and other videos, Pedri is the best midfielder in the world currently at this moment in time. But stop trying to act like Bellingham is mid or that he's bad because he doesn't score 200 goals or whatever anymore. This guy is a footballer, bros. You can talk about the physical attributes and whatnot. The assist for Mbappe's goal on the weekend, world class. Even before the pass, bro, the little shift to send my man away. I said, whoa. Even I got sent watching my very legal live stream on the laptop. I got sent. Then he plays the inch perfect pass to Mbappe, who of course it's Mbappe. Most people, he can get onto any kind of pass, but regardless, it was a perfectly weighted pass. And then he gets the goal to win El Clasico again for the 3rd time, to add to his winner in midweek on his first start back. I want to say, could be wrong, somebody fact check that one. I believe Juve was his first start back. Scores the winner in that game as well. So he's him, bro. Whether you like it or not, you have to accept he is the guy. Now, on to our wingers. We're going to start on the right. We're going to go for a youngster. We're going to Germany. We're going to Lennart Karl, who just this week scored his first ever goal in professional football for Bayern Munich. And what a banger it was. And then on the weekend, he said, you know what? Give me another one. And then he also bagged against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Incredible week for the kid. He seems to be someone that, again, is going to have an impact on Bayern this season. One of the players that obviously was a non-factor in our pre-season sort of predictions or analysis or whatever. No, I was not certainly thinking about Lennart Karl, right? I'm thinking of, you know, Olise and Jackson coming in and Luis Diaz, and obviously Kane's going to be the guy. But Karl is showing that he can contribute, bro. He's ready to contribute. And it allows guys like Olise or Diaz or whoever to get a bit of... I don't know if Karl can even play on the left, to be fair. But it allows the wingers to get a bit of rest, right? They aren't going to be playing every single game. So, again, big ups to him. Up front, a lot of competition here. So, again, feel free if I forgot someone, let me know. Put your honorable mentions. One thing I asked, though, please, stop doing the thing of like, oh, it's criminal how you have left this guy. Oh, it's a disgrace. Disgust. I'm just giving you my opinions. You can respectfully say, oh, but I think this guy should be in. And then tell me who you think should get out. Don't list me 8 players that should have been in. And then you can't even tell me who to remove. Because you just want your players to be in. I get it. This week, the striker is going to be Victor Osimhen. In the Champions League, ridiculous brace and assist. I know it didn't count as assist, but I'm not a numbers man like that. I don't see that looking at the Excel spreadsheet. In my eyes, that was the assist for Galatasaray's 3rd goal. It was his pressing to win the ball and set up. Obviously, the shot was rebounded and then he scored from the rebound. So, basically, all 3 goals for Galatasaray in the Champions League. And then, when Gala went behind to Göztepe on the weekend, he gets the equalizer and basically sparks and spearheads the comeback for Galatasaray to win again. And I think it's about time we get Osimhen in the Team of the Week to give him his well-deserved flowers. And on the left, as per usual, is someone that doesn't necessarily play on the left like that anymore, but in times like this, we do so to squeeze him in the team because he has to be in, and his name is Kylian Mbappe. Now, again, you might go and say, oh, but my man in Tunisia scored 4 goals this weekend. It's not always just specifically numbers. Mbappe against Barcelona, this was an incredible performance. Barcelona were seeing stars. You know, like in Ed and Neddy, yeah? When, what's my man's name? Plank. When they'll whack somebody's head, like Johnny, they'll whack his head, yeah? And then he's just there seeing the stars like that. Or they'll put the jawbreaker in their mouth and then someone just slams their head like that. That was basically Mbappe to Barca's defense, bro. They didn't know where they were. They didn't know what kind of line to play. And if not for millimeters, where I get it, last year he was offside by quite a bit at times. It was a bit shambolic to be offside. Was it like 7 or 8 times? He was the tiniest of margins, and he's banging off volleys regardless. So, yeah, big ups to him. Of course, midweek as well, they beat Juventus. Again, he didn't, you know, get the numbers for it, but I think he was the shining light and the thrusting force, if you will, for Real Madrid to win big results, to beat Juventus and obviously eternal rivals Barcelona in the same week is fantastic, and I think he deserves to be in. But as per usual, let me know any left wingers you think should be in. And for the gaffer, we have a new name. We're going to be inviting Derek McInnes of Hearts, who beat Celtic 3-1 to now go 8 points clear at the top of the Scottish League. Do you know how mad that is? Normally Rangers, Celtic, Rangers, Celtic, Rangers, Celtic. Guys, this is going to be potentially, if all goes well for Derek McInnes, the first time that Hearts win the Scottish League since all the way back in the 1959-60 season. For those of us who remember, I was there. It was a crazy time. That was before, you know, Sir Alex came a couple decades later and whatnot. Carnage, bro. To break this duopoly, it's kind of a monopoly with a bit of Rangers here and there, but duopoly, let's say, is fantastic. So big ups to him. Obviously, like I said, beating Celtic. Arteta was very close as well, I'll be honest with you. I realised we haven't given Arteta one team of the week whatsoever, so maybe next week. We'll see what happens next week, and then maybe he can get in. But as per usual, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to log into the Twitch, by the way. Maybe I'm going to put this at the start of the video, so if you see me randomly cut it, don't complain. Be sure to follow on the Twitch, right? Every Monday around 4 or 5 p.m, we watch highlights of all the top 5 leagues to see who performed, who had stinkers, discuss all the games and whatnot. So it'll be nice of you guys to come and chat, you know, live, face to face and whatnot. Keep the subs coming. Have a great week. I'll see you guys tomorrow in a bit. Bosh.